It's a cold, wet day, not really conducive to flying outside, and I've just discovered that one of my video transmitters appeared to have failed. So for something different, I'm going to go through the process of troubleshooting it and give you some idea of the things you can run into. I'm aware that I'm using stuff that's pretty well seen as obsolete, but it's been cost effective and reliable, so that's why I've stuck with it. So here we go. Used to buy CAT-X, but these days I tend to buy Runcam or Foxy for cameras, and they're very good. Cost a bit. And when I saw this dirt cheap analog camera, I thought the spec looks reasonable, so I'll give it a shot, because I can use it on a more disposable quad that's in danger of being lost. So the camera came quite quickly, because one of the advantages was this was coming from Australia, where I am, Sydney or Melbourne, and it came nicely boxed up with some instructions. Quite good presentation. And it came with a cable and also a little bracket and some screws, usual stuff. So initial impression was quite good. So here's the Eachine VTX 02 that I've been using for years for the Bugs 3. There's some good reasons why I do it. I mean, they're cheap, they're reliable, they're harder to find now, but they've got cheaper. But also they fit right into the back of a Bugs cover, so it can stick up. So when you get them, they come, one of the leads for the power is fine. The other one, it's kind of like a micro JST, so I have to disconnect that and put a slightly larger one to handle the connection I prefer to use, which is this thing here. It's the one I've been using, and it's all wired up, ready to go. But what's happened, it's not transmitting. The light's on, I can see it's set to the right channel, but the real clue is it doesn't heat up. Normally these things are 200 fixed at, I think it's 200 milliwatt fixed, and if it doesn't warm up, you know it's not transmitting, and I confirm that with the computer. So a little bit later I'll do some more on that. So I give it the power, see it's on the right channel, but it's just not transmitting, it's not warming up. So it's finally failed. As I say, they cost very little, and I'm about to replace it. So I'm just going through the process. As I say, the first thing to do is to change over the lead so it's the bigger JST connector. Don't know why they use the sub-micro ones, but that's what they do. I used to just cut the leads off and resolder them, but this time I'm trying to undo it, so I can just pull it out of the housing, and hopefully I can slide it into the next one. So that's the way they come out. You use a pin just to lever up the little white cover, and you can pull them out. Okay, so that's got the last of the wires out. So got to note that the tab seems to be facing downwards for when I put it into the other one. Okay, so as usual, I've wound up clipping off the original 1.1mm spaced connector and put on a 1.25, and done my usual crude soldering job to connect the wires. I just need to cover those wires so they're insulated, and I'll give it a go. The problem turned out to be a simple wiring mistake. As you can see here, the yellow video lead is on the right hand side. That's on a White Snake Eachine camera. This is on the Joshua Bardwell Edition Phoenix 2, same thing. And I've now got the right wiring on the camera. I was so impressed with the camera I got it working, I bought another one. And what you can see here is it comes with the yellow cable on the left instead of the right, and that's the whole problem. The other complication was I had a slightly dodgy connection with another camera, so when I had two cameras fail I thought, no, it's the VTX. Wrong. Here's the working configuration with the wiring around the right way, with the red and the yellow leads swapped over on the camera to be more like any other camera, and how I've got it all plugged in, ready to go. So there's the power to the camera coming from the VTX, the connector there, and the power that goes out to the VTX coming off the Bugs 3 clean 5-volt power supply, and that's the way it's all attached to the cover. Just a little bit of tape there to neaten things up, but you can see the thing I like is the way the VTX02 just fits neatly into the cover of the Bugs and does the job. So, ready for a final test. So next thing to do is to test the everything's working okay. So I've got a little screen I bought. I think it came with a Bugs MJX Bug 6 in the first place. Pop that out there. Next thing is to attach a battery, and that should show whether the whole setup is working or not. Which it seems to be. Okay. Another way to test the VTX, if you don't have a little screen, or you don't want to plug in the quad, is you can use something like this. I'll just plug this in first and then I'll show what it is. So what this thing is, it's a Ishin ROTGO2, it's dual diversity. I've got it tuned to my favourite frequency, 5705, and the next step is on the PC to fire up VLC, which you can get, I run everything under Linux, but you can get this under Windows. So having fired it up, what I'm doing now is bringing up media, open capture device, and it's a video device name, which in my case is video 2. So I do that, and then I've got to go play, and now it's running. You see it's 5705 is the frequency I've got it tuned to. Of course you can search and hunt for anything. So having done that, the next step's to grab the quad again, plug in the battery. As soon as the battery's in, you notice on VLC the camera's come up. So again, you can wave it around and get an idea as to whether it's working or not. As expected, it's good again. So just a couple of ways to do your test. So the third way is to use the natural quad. So having done that, I can stop that, shut it down, pull out the cable, you don't leave that on, and then finally just pull out the cable, the temporary battery. As you see, I've used an original MGX Bugs 3 thing with a few mods to take it from a XT30 to an XT60, but it does a good job of testing, even though I'd prefer to use the 53S or a higher C rating battery. So, just a little wander through the sort of things to do when the weather's not good enough for flying.